the Futurist Mindset and Fifth Avenue Capital. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa, and I'm here to introduce Reagan Rodriguez. Hello, Reagan.
Hello, Tessa. How are you doing
I'm
today?
wonderful. Thank you. Well, I
Good.
want to introduce
Uh-huh.
you all to Reagan because he is a futurist that teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. And today you're actually going to talk to us about the cycles we go through when creating a hedge fund or a CAFÉ fund.
Yeah. And as I mentioned to you just before we were kind of getting started, that I go through this stuff as well. So I think that's the important thing that I want people to know is that let's remember that the results take time, right? Many people sometimes they uh, can have like a tendency to judge too quickly. And so, what I would like you to do if you're listening to this is it's important to commit and then stay consistent and then just give that habit time to produce the results, right? So, persevere, stick to the plan, and then just continue to improve each day. Does that makes sense,
Yes,
Tessa? Whatever it
absolutely.
is that we're going through, it's part of the growth. So let me kind of get started here. Okay. Um, I want to talk about getting through that cycle of performance, recognizing that my job, if you hire me, is to take that excitement about starting a hedge fund or a cafe fund, or they've got some new vision, they're launching something big, right? And people get excited, right? But they've never done this before, or maybe they haven't done it in a long time. And what my job is to get them ready for deception. And part of getting ready for deception is taking yourself through it. So, how do you know whether someone's in deception? There are several categories that people hit when they kind of deceived. And it's not them, it's the pattern they play. So you need to remember that when you hit deception, you start looking for certainty, not necessarily success. You start looking for justification. So it's actually a very human thing to do to fall into one of these categories. So if you feel like you're stuck in deception, where there's the victim, there's the rut dweller, the certainty seeker, the success seeker, the escapist, the pretender, and the stressed achiever. Those are categories that we go through. Okay. And I see this, especially when they're in deceptions. And I see people going through these patterns. I see it in the communication throughout the program. And what my job is to help them align and then redirect to a place where it's then going to support your outcome and grow to that next level. If you develop your people within your fund, it will grow. Tie it to a vision and a powerful purpose, and that fund will grow. You will take it to that next level. And you have to know that the intention is on them, on the people. Even if you're not that way, look, the victim doesn't take any responsibility, right? It's never their fault. It's the organization, the comp plan, the way they're paid, their managers, their leaders, the customers, the market. It's always something else that's not them. And what I teach people to do as you're creating this fund, you're going to learn how to not just take responsibility, because that's what that person has given up, their ability to respond. They've given it up, yet they have that potential. Anybody can exceed that goal, but you have to take that ability to respond in any situation or that responsibility, or else your mind is going to say it's somebody else's fault. Well, then I'll just shut down. So really align with your people that they are playing the victim, or maybe they're in this rut. They're unorganized. They're all over the place. They're scattered. They're not, they talk about what they should be doing. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And they should all over themselves. So you need to be careful to allow them to get away. They need to take small steps. They need small wins. They need to know that inch by inch, I help give them the win. And I go deeper in that when you're a client of mine. The next pattern, pretender. Now, these people, they're only tricking themselves. They don't trick me. Everyone around them knows what's going on. I know who they're really being. So with them, I'm very careful about that type. And I speak to them about their capability, but their authentic capabilities. I let them know that I see beyond what they are pretending to be and what they really are. That is a beautiful opportunity when I am able to call them out on that. The next is the certainty seeker. They're looking for certainty before they can act, before they know it can work. How do they know this is the right thing? Reagan, they'll say, and I can just feel that within them. Their body language and the calmness is where you need to be careful. You can't show these people any nervous or fear for what you're asking for. You need to have faith and know that they can get it done because they need that certainty from you. They're looking at it from the outside instead of the inside. So instead of acting them to become that, give it to them. Give it to them in a beautiful way until they do it for themselves. The next is the success seeker. These are people that are positive, outgoing. They really want to accomplish things, even in making excuses or moving to something else or do something different, or they change jobs, they change businesses. They don't talk bad. They're actually positive people. They say everything's great. But as soon as they hit any kind of a deception, they make an excuse. They confuse becoming as failure. And they don't like to fail. They like to succeed always. And then there's the escapist. They just put their head in the hole, or they run away, or they pretend it's not happening. And they kind of lose themselves in themselves. They almost dare you to bring them to reality based on how they're performing. So you need to let them know it's okay. You need to let them know that you are there for them, that there's a system around them. There's a support system. And plus, you can't run anyway. The game is always happening. You can't hit a pause button. And then ultimately, there's the stressed achiever. And you're going to relate to this one, Tessa, because they get it done, but they stress everybody around them. They work hard, but man, do people want them gone? The customer, the team, I get frustrated with people like that. And what I remind those people of, it's like putting 50 pounds of brick on your back every day, and you think that you're succeeding and that the bricks are helping. The bricks are not helping. It's the pattern that you're taking with what you think is successful. Stress does not support success. Stress is just there. What you're doing in spite of the stress is outstanding. And that's what I tell them. Ultimately, though, creating a fund is about creating opportunities for everybody. The investors, the people on your team, it's about becoming that performer. You want to be internally driven, externally focused. You know how to get yourself focused on your attitude, your self-talk, your physical expression. Understand how to be outcome focused on what's going to support you. Seek the fulfillment that you're looking for in your life, in your career. Use your time efficiently. As that hedge fund manager, you have to set that example. So, gosh, I said a lot here.
You did.
Tessa, I could tell. I was looking at your face. Some of this stuff was resonating with you.
No, I love
Go for it.
I do have some questions, though.
Yeah, please do.
I think I believe that you have a video on your YouTube channel and maybe even on your website about the stressed achiever and how stress isn't.
Well, yeah, but you weren't supposed to say that. Remember, I told you I had an idea of what I was going to talk on today because I didn't have things prepared. So you're right. This is something I teach this in my trainings with people. So you're right. I guess I'm giving a little bit of cheat notes, but you're right. I did talk about that when I had my interns over during Christmas, and it was on a YouTube video. So you're right, Tessa.
But I would say that's
Mm-hmm.
what actually attracted when I was looking into working with you. I actually looked at that video, and it was a lot of the reason why I thought, this person has such good information to share. So I had to say that because I do think that that's a lot many of us take on that stress, like you said, the bricks that you don't have to carry. But there were so many good ones in here, but the fault seeker, the pretender, certainty seekers, success seeker, your escapist, and your stressed achiever. And did I miss anybody in there? Did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got them. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love how you addressed each one of these and how to deal with these as you might see yourself in it. So like I might see myself.
Oh, totally. I'm in all of them. I'm talking
right?
about
With
myself.
different
It's not
times.
a judgment. Yeah.
And I think that's true, that we might go through phases, like just in this cycle of having this CAFÉ fund or your, hedge fund, that you may experience people like this and how to deal with these people. So that was extremely helpful too. What do you have to do when you run into somebody like this? Because you work with a lot of different people and you're always asking for money. I'm sure that's stressful in some environments. So you have to have a way to handle all these different people. So I feel like you did a great job explaining how we work with them and then maybe how we try not to be those roles as well.
Well, during the process, as I am helping my client create that fund for their big vision, that alternative energy project, I see sometimes errors I make. And then when I see that they might make them, I say, oh man, I did that the first time as well, right? Or I remember doing that as well. So that's why I'm not judging. I normally spot it when I'm thinking, oh, that's something I need to work on. It's like yesterday, I know I sent you an email on something and you said, do you want to have a Zoom meeting on this? And I said, no, you know what I want to do today? I want to go out and have pizza and I'm going to have coffee and I want comfort food, right? So what's that doing? That's escaping your responsibility, right? And then here's another one. Well, I want to have you, was there another one of the categories that resonated with you? Because there was one point that I think you might see a lot of your clients fall into.
Well, I think actually I see a little bit of all of those in my clients for sure. But
okay,
I do
I
think
mostly
that the
meant
success seekers.
That's what I was going to say. The success seeker, I was going to guess. You
Yes,
know why?
the success seekers.
Because that's that typical entrepreneur. That's that typical person that goes to a seminar, they go to this one, they go to and you can't be jumping from thing to thing. At the end of the day, you'll just become like a seminar junkie. So I don't know if you can relate with that. I know I used to be that way when I was young. I would go to this seminar, and then when I would hear that one that was promoted, I'd say, oh, I had the fear of missing out. And I thought I need to learn about this, that. So that's what that success seeker is. It's that person that, and that's why I said they're never normally positive people, right? I give an example. I know a guy that's like that he's a great guy, really is. Friend of mine, when I've had him over at my home, he sees my bookshelf and he says, Reagan, you've got all these positive books. I see you even have something on Joel Osteen. It's all about positivity. But why is it that whenever I call you about that new deal, you never want to hear anything about it? Well, again, this is a friend. He was asking me a question, so I was going to answer it. And I said, because every year you call me with a new deal. If you've stuck with it for at least 2 years, then call me. I haven't heard from the guy ever since.
I think that does describe most of the entrepreneurs, the people who are they're very driven, they're succeeding, but they're in search of this thing that's going to change their life, right? But it is too easy to get distracted, the shiny object syndrome, or it's not going the way you think. And I believe this is what you said too. If it's not going perfectly, they tend to jump ship. Like, I'm gonna go start something new. This one's not going good enough.
Yeah. We all fall into that, right? So any other thing you wanted to bring up, Tessa?
No, I think these were great. I wrote down so many notes, but I love on the certainty seekers that you're giving them certainty back because they're looking for validation. And I think that that's really hard with what you do, because there isn't, the certainty is there, but you have to be able to reflect the positivity in what you're doing. I'm sure you're, reflecting the good things that you are talking with people about. It's like the conversations that you're having. You have to
Yeah.
kind of convey that to them. I mean, but this might come out a little bit out of the left field, and if you can't answer it, it's okay. But as a hedge fund manager, I mean, what do you think is your biggest role for these clients? Like, what do you think is your biggest role?
Well, the majority of the day, when you think about it with what we do, you're in work mode, right? You're juggling priorities, deadlines, outcomes, and then there's a variety of emotions that are involved with your growth. You sent me a great email about that earlier today, I think, right? Just about that growth. So think about this. Some days, I know for myself, can be more challenging than others, right? So one of the things that I find myself, that I ask myself is why? So answering your question, I do get that. I get sometimes they might think to themselves, why did I choose this career, investment, business, or partnership, right? Or why did I take on so much or agree to be part of this project? So here's another one. I ask myself this question sometimes too. Why do I work so many hours and neglect the important roles in my life? Mm-hmm. You and I talked about that as well, right? Yes. So let's get kind of reacquainted with your why. That is what I help people do, is get reacquainted with your why today. In other words, what excites you about your current position? What excites you about the potential? What is the most rewarding part of your business or that assignment that you've been given? I'm big on calling them assignments versus jobs.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it's an assignment that I have. So also, what is it that you're most passionate about, or what is it that that talent at your work, right? The other part I'll also talk on, Tessa, is that we need to express gratitude for our current position, right? Knowing that wherever you are right now is where you need to be to grow until you're not.
Absolutely. Divine timing. I mean, I think it all happens for a reason, and you're in the place where you are for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
I think that's it. I think we've given everybody a pretty good overview.
Yes, I think you gave lots of information and lots of tips on how to deal with this in yourself and in others that you might be working with. So I think it's very helpful, and people will be able to go back and watch it over and over. So thank you so much, Reagan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're quite welcome.
And we are here every Friday to help you grow in your knowledge of yourself, like understand your why better, because that's what Reagan is so good at. And also we're learning a lot about hedge funds and how CAFÉ funds work, how to, great projects that are out there, especially this eco, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about the projects that you typically work with. But when we're meeting new people that have projects that you're working with as well.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think that's it. Have a beautiful weekend, and email me if you need anything.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Reagan. Have a great day. Have a great week, everyone. See you next week.